Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Monday, May 9th, 2016.
Commissioner Davis, James, Repenning, and Jacinto are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Chris Smith, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Matty Lawn, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Eddie Chavez with the Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Craig Shaw, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Robert Potter, Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Lori Rittenberg, City Attorney.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment, nor any of the regular items.
Then we will close general public comment. Our first item of business, the approval of the meeting minutes from the meeting of Wednesday, April 20th, 2016. Is there a second to my motion approving those meeting minutes by Commissioner Repenning? Any objection? Without objection, we'll approve those meeting minutes. Let's start with an administrative item. Agenda item number 7, the mayor has approved in return for execution 2 separate memorandums of agreement between the city and public agencies regarding administration and cost sharing of implementing the coordinated integrated monitoring plan for the Bologna Creek Watershed Management Area and the Santa Monica Bay Watershed Management Area in jurisdictions 2 and 3. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 7 forthwith by Commissioner Jacinto? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 1, Bureau of Engineering and Council District 1, recommending the board authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of task for solicitation number 01-012 to URS Corporation, increasing the budget authority from $610,000 to $720,000 for groundwater monitoring, permitting, and reporting services for the Fire Station number 3 project and Morton Prince. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Board of Public Works. How's everyone doing? I'm going to adjust the microphone, sorry.
There you go.
My name is Morton Price. I'm with the Bureau of Engineering, and I'm here today to talk about one of our sites, Fire Station 3, located at 108 North Fremont, just a little bit north of downtown LA. It's an active city fire station and storage facility for LAFD. This is one of our underground storage tank sites in which we removed underground storage tanks that were leaking that have impacted soil and groundwater. Currently, the site is undergoing semi-annual groundwater monitoring and remediation as required by Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board. As part of the monitoring and permitting we are to do each year, we are requesting additional funding to proceed with this work. Our current MBE utilization for this project is 11.22% and 3.23% for MBE and WBE. Our consultant has pledged 21.32% and 6.94%. We are requesting an additional $110,000 to continue another year of groundwater monitoring and permitting and reporting, thereby bringing our ceiling to $720,000 for this work. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to entertain them at this point.
Any questions for Mr. Price? Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Mr. Price, thank you. This is just a continuation of the ground water monitoring, correct?
That is correct, Commissioner, as required by our regulator.
Thank you.
Anything further? Is there a motion by Commissioner Jacinto? I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 2, Bureau of Engineering for Council Districts 4 and 13, recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to issue task for solicitation number 4 to SOMAS to provide the plan, specifications, and estimate final design documents and right-of-way services for the Glendale Boulevard Hyperion Avenue Complex of Bridges Improvement Project, as stated in task order solicitation number 1, with a budget authority of $4,250,000, which includes contingency. Ms. Lau, good morning.
Good morning. Shirley Lau with the Bureau of Engineering Bridge Improvement Division. To provide you with some background on the Glendale Hyperion Complex of Bridges, this project comprises of 6 bridge structures connected together, which was completed in 1929 and spans approximately 1,190 feet over the LA River, I-5 Freeway, and Riverside Drive. It connects the communities of Atwater Village, Silver Lake, and Los Feliz. The major components of this project are to seismically retrofit and widen the existing Glendale Boulevard bridges, seismically retrofit Hyperion Bridge and reconfigure the Hyperion Avenue roadway, realign the I-5 off-ramp, preserve the historic features of all the bridges, provide an additional LA River bikeway accessibility, and also a non-motorized river crossing over the LA River on the existing red car piers. In June 2015, the City Council adopted the California Environmental Quality Act document following the recommendation of this board. With the environmental approval, the Bureau of Engineering proceeded to collaborate and coordinate with Caltrans on design issues and select a qualified consultant to perform the final design and right-of-way services. The general scope of this task is to prepare the technical documents for the city to obtain all the necessary regulatory permits and right-of-way to construct the project, also to coordinate and obtain all approvals from Caltrans and Federal Highways on project design, project reports, environmental revalidation, and to complete the 100% plans, specifications, and estimates so that the project can move into construction. The Bureau of Engineering solicited cost proposals from all 10 pre-qualified on-call bridge and civil engineering consultants. 3 firms responded. The proposals were reviewed by a panel of BOE staff with knowledge and experience on this project. All 3 firms were interviewed and scored based on the established selection criteria. SOMAS received the highest average score for its exceptional strength in all professional disciplines. Also, to reach a proper design scope with fair and reasonable compensation, the BOE team consulted with Caltrans design oversight and structural engineers extensively on the latest design requirements for this bridge. BOE does recommend the approval of the final negotiated cost proposal of $3,999,932. Since this is a federally funded project, the city must adhere to the U.S. Department of Transportation Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, the DBE program. The DBE participation for the pre-qualified on-call contract is 6.01%, and SOMAS has pledged a DBE participation of 34.5% for this task. This task will be funded by Federal Highway Bridge Program funds with some seismic bond local match. In addition, we also have Metro funds and Measure R funds. We request the board to authorize the city engineer to issue this task to SOMAS so that we can complete the design and right-of-way phases of this project and move the project into construction. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Lau. Commissioner Penning?
I just wanted to say that I'm really pleased to see this project moving forward. I know the bridge as it exists is seismically unsafe, and I think it's, as we had the discussion maybe about a year ago, not safe for bikers or pedestrians. And so I think the new bridge, once it's built, will be a dramatic improvement on all those conditions.
Yes.
And Shirley, if you covered it, I was drifting out when you did, but I don't think you did. Just confirmation, the litigation that had existed is over, correct?
Correct.
Great, thank you. Anything further, colleagues? Is there a motion, Commissioner Penning? I'll second it, along with Commissioner Jacinto, approving this agenda item. Any objection? No objection. We'll adopt agenda item number 2. Any problem sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 3, Bureau of Street Services, recommending the board execute proposed amendment number 1 to a contract with Shaheen and Associates to provide additional services to update a street damage restoration fee study and reassessment of the 1996 study on the effects of the utility cut patching on pavement lifespan and rehabilitation costs. This is in the amount of $322,240. Mr. Chan from Street Services. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. President, and the commissioners and members of the board. Just as a background, 20 years ago, we did a study with Dr. Shaheen, and we found the results of the study indicated that the damage to select streets or the major streets came out to about $12.9 million due to the trenching and the utility cuts. And the damage to local streets or residential streets is coming up to about $3.5 million. So this contract is to ask for the amount of $322,000, which is entirely done by Dr. Shaheen, to redo the study that we did about 20 years ago. If there's any questions, perhaps I could answer.
Steve, thanks for the and the background and the board report. This is something that I know we've wanted to look at for some time, and particularly after the controller's report and of a year and a half ago or so, and some discussions at the council level with the mayor's street improvement package that we worked together with the mayor's office on some months ago. So I look forward to working with you all on this. Any questions on agenda item number 3, Commissioner Penning?
I just had a question about what are kind of, I mean, what are we hoping to be able to get out of this?
Steve, go ahead.
Well, the study that was commissioned 20 years ago used the cost that in terms to calculate the dollar damage, we used costs from the Bureau of Street Services 20 years old. Also, the the square footage of cuts that we used was based on the estimate from the Bureau of Engineering 20 years ago. So when we redo this study, and not only that, the traffic has changed since then. So especially on the select streets. So if we were to redo the study, the damage might or might not be, in more probability be more than what it was 20 years ago. Right. So with all these factors there, I mean, in order to do a full cost recovery, I mean, we would have to redo the whole study because the fee is all based on the study that's done 20 years ago, and it hasn't changed much.
So we'd be hoping to get more funding back from utilities and other agencies that are cutting into our pavement?
There is no guarantee because the study is on random selection, but the general idea is yes. The idea is perhaps we'll recover more money based on this.
That Commissioner Penning, I would just add that the study would also give the City Council the information that it would need to adjust the street damage restoration fee to a more modern time. It's the old study's 20 years old. There were some issues regarding the estimates that were used for the amount of times that the street is cut into. So we're really going to update it in 2 areas. One, on what the costs are to the taxpayer for damage to our roads, as well as what the actual frequency is now of cutting into the streets. Anything further? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3, seconded by Commissioner Penning. Thank you. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt number 3. Any problem sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 4, Bureau of Sanitation recommending that the board adopt the Planning and Land Development on Private Property Handbook for Low Impact Development, Part B, Planning Activities, the 5th edition, updates to comply with our MS4 permit. Michael Scaduto. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Board President, Commissioners, and Bureau Reps. In November of 2011, the City adopted its Low Impact Development Ordinance, and in April of 2012, the Board of Public Works then adopted the 4th edition of the Planning and Land Development Handbook, also referred to as LID Handbook. November of 2012, the LA Regional Water Quality Control Board adopted the latest Stormwater Municipal Permit, also known as the MS4 permit, for LA County and incorporated cities. With the adoption of the new MS4 permit, there are a number of revisions and amendments that were made to the existing LAMC, which is Chapter 6, Article 4.4, entitled Stormwater and Urban Pollution Control. These amendments were adopted by City Council and the Mayor in August of 2015. We're here this morning to respectfully request the Board approve the 5th edition of the Planning and Land Development Handbook, again also known as LID. These revisions and adoption of the handbook are critical and urgent as they are mandated by the permit. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Commissioner Penning.
I just wanted to thank you and Bureau staff for your work on the handbook. I know you guys put a lot of work into it, and we have a lot of work to do in order to actually meet the MS4 permit requirements. So this is one piece of it that I think is going to help us get to a clean watershed. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Any questions on this? I don't have any questions. Is that a motion, Commissioner Penning? Then I'll second it, along with Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Any issues sending it forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5 from the Bureaus of Contract Administration and Engineering, our requested quarterly contract acceptance, recommending that the board accept the 54 sewer and 5 storm drain projects of the Emergency Sewer and Storm Drain Repair Program. Mr. Smith.
Good morning, Chris Smith, Bureau of Contract Administration, Wastewater Construction Division. This quarterly acceptance report covers 59 construction orders, utilizing all of the 16 contractors on our current list for the emergency on-call list. The work orders here are for the period from February 2016 to April 2016. There are no unresolved property or financial issues associated with any of these construction orders, and there are no outreach requirements on this due to the emergency nature of the contract. The Bureau recommends acceptance.
Great. Any questions on number 5? Commissioner Davis.
In terms of the pre-qualified list, when we go through the process to pre-qualify, we are able to have in our disposal people who are ready to hit the ground running to do these emergency contracts. And we do have some time in planning and choosing those individuals. And even though the reason why there is not a requirement is because obviously when there is an emergency, we don't want to be saddled with a burden of having to try to achieve that at the expense of not meeting the demands of this emergency, which is a priority. Nevertheless, given the fact that there is some planning time in which we do this, do we explore the possibilities that perhaps there are some individuals with whom we feel we can trust to do these emergencies that might happen to be from some of the areas that we traditionally want to have inclusion, given this planning window that we have in that selection process?
We have not looked at that aspect of this particular emergency contract. I know on the upcoming sewers contract, we are looking at ways that we could have some kind of inclusion, because in that instance, we do have a little bit of time. In other words, the jobs are planned more so than these.
My question is a general question, and I just thought that this was an opportunity to ask it, not more specific, but more general, because there is a window of planning. And I'm not trying to stop the process by which we operate, but I'm trying to capitalize upon the opportunity that exists in our planning period. And so this particular, this particular motion gives me the opportunity to look at whether we could capitalize on that. And I think there's a way in which we could kind of meet some of the desires for inclusion and not interrupt the normal process of how we do emergency.
Right, understood. This current contract is in the 4th of its 5th 5-year term, and we will be looking at renewing it in a year. So that's certainly one of the things we could consider.
I think so. I think that's definitely worthy of us looking at. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Anything further? Is there a motion on agenda item number 5 by Commissioner Davis, seconded by Commissioner Ascento to adopt agenda item number 5? Any objections? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5. Any issues sending it forthwith? We'll send number 5 forthwith. Agenda item number 6, the city clerk has transmitted the action of the city council authorizing the board to execute a proposed personal services contract with USA Waste of California doing business as Waste Management for the receipt, processing, and reuse of green material, food material, and or horse manure from the city's curbside collection program. This is a document that's sent back for signature. Ms. Romano, are you just here for questions? Or do you have something you want to add?
No additions, Mr. President.
Any questions for Ms. Romano? Okay. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item number 6 by Commissioner Repenning? Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 6. Any problem saying it forthwith? Thank you, Ms. Romano. We'll send number 6 forthwith. Agenda item number 7 we have done. Mr. Executive Officer, have we cleared the desk?
Yes.
Okay. Then we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.